the pastor of St. Louis and St. Francis, will be presenting. Father Descanis, our pastor, Father Lucon, our associate pastor, as well as June, our seminarian, will all be making presentations throughout the course of our journey together. So we all have different styles. Some will be using slides like I'm doing, some will not use slides. But the idea is we're trying to engage in a discussion. So, and I'll be going over the ground rules tonight of kind of our sessions. But one thing I do like to just make sure everybody has a good understanding of is feel free to ask questions as we go along. Feel free to, if you don't understand something or we say something that you just don't understand, ask us to explain it. Happy to do that. We're not bound by our presentations. This is meant to be an open discussion. And that's because we all are moving on this faith journey. Okay? So why don't we get started? As you see by the slide, OCIA, it is a journey of faith. That's what we're all on together. We're all at different stages. We've all come from different paths. But we're all on this journey together. God has brought us together tonight so that He can shepherd us on a journey. It's a unique journey. Every year it's different. Every OCIA cohort is different. But God chose us to be together for His purpose. And that's what we're going to be doing over the next 18 weeks or so. We're not going to be doing introductions tonight. We are going to be doing that a little bit later. We'll probably introduce a couple people each week, so that way everybody has a chance to speak. But now let's talk about the ground rules. So these are again basic ground rules in any kind of group presentation or session. Everyone participates by sharing their ideas. We welcome everyone to participate. However, you're not forced to participate. If you're not comfortable, and I can tell you from personal experience, I'm usually the one that doesn't speak that much. You can say, oh, well, that doesn't make any sense, but trust me, usually when I'm in group setting, I usually don't speak that much. But feel free to talk or not. We're not compelling everyone to participate if you don't feel that you need to speak. Okay? We ask people to listen and consider the opinions of others respectfully, because we all come from different faith traditions, different backgrounds, different histories. God's put us on our own faith journey, but we're together. So we need to be respectful of everyone other's opinions, as well as where they are in their faith journey. We ask everyone, when you say anything or share anything, you're responsible for the impact on the group. What does that mean? What that means is our words carry, not just meaning. They carry our faith. So be mindful of that, all right? We also do ask that you respect the confidentiality of what's discussed. During these next 18 weeks, we're all going to be growing at different stages. We may share things that maybe might be a little painful, might be very happy, might be celebratory, might be a little sad. We ask everyone to respect the confidentiality of what's discussed in this room. Lastly, just be open. Be open to this process. The Holy Spirit is speaking to each of us, and He is guiding us along this way. He may say something to one person, may something different to other person. And it's all meant to be shared, because we all are going to learn. We're all going to learn. Are there any other ground rules that anybody else would like to bring up that maybe I didn't mention? Yes, Pat?
It makes it easier for the group if there's no crosstalk.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much. No crosstalk, so no side discussion. There will be time to discuss. So yes, thank you very much for that. What else? Yes, Richard?
You can change tables week to week.
Sure, you can change it up. Have a good time. That's coming from someone who's this creature of habit. Change it up. We encourage it. Team as well as catechumens and candidates. Any other ground rules that anyone would like to mention? I do have a couple more. Be respectful of time, and we do have a timekeeper. So we will have that, if the conversation gets going on a little bit too long, we'll actually truncate it, and we can either put it on a parking lot, or we can have that scheduled the next time, okay? We don't mean to cut anybody off, but we do have a certain amount of material that we do need to get through. We just want to make sure that we're respectful of that. Of course, if you need to take a break, you're free to get up and go. We're not going to do formal breaks where everybody gets a chance to go to work, but just if you feel you need to use the restroom or just get up and walk a little bit, feel free to do that. You're fine. We encourage that. Okay? We will be having a parking lot. What's that for? Again, it helps us with everybody's thoughts, questions that you might have, especially if you maybe aren't comfortable asking the question in front of the whole group. We'll have a place to do that, Post-it notes and pieces of paper where you can write those questions, and we'll handle those, especially if you want to do it anonymously. We can handle that. All right. I guess I better come clean about something right away. We do recycle our presentations a lot. I didn't update this all the way. You might see the words RCIA. That used to be the term, Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults. Last year, the Catholic Church discarded the R and made it an O as an order. I'm going to explain what that is in a second. So you might see some RCIA things, but just think O. Think O. The reason that they decided is they didn't want to concentrate on the actual ceremonies, okay? The rites of coming into the Catholic Church. They thought that was not necessarily the focus. What they wanted to focus on was more of the growing in faith, or the order of it. An order is a grouping or a common event that people go through. It also connotes a sense of relationship. This order of Christianization of adults, we are that order. Maybe you've heard of order of priests like the Franciscans or the Dominicans or something like that. Order, that's a grouping. So it also reflects a certain rigor, okay? And a certain basis of understanding and common held beliefs. When we're ordained as priests, deacons, or bishops, there's that's where the word ordination comes from. It's that order. It's that common set of beliefs that we have learned about and we've been formed to, that now allows us to perform ministry according to that role. So that's why they changed it from Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults to Order of Christian Initiation of Adults, OCIA. Full disclosure, in all transparency, Father thinks that's way too much. Father Diascanis felt that's too long, so we might just call it Christian Initiation for short. He likes that a lot. So, in terms of brevity, especially when Father Diascanis is here, it's Christian Initiation. That's our secret. All right. So, what are the outcomes? We agree on the ground rules for our session. So, do we all agree on the ground rules that I just presented?
Right.
Perfect. What's going to happen? We're going to explore our beliefs about the Catholic Church and our ideas. We're going to discuss the concept of faith and the meaning of life. We're going to identify multiple ways to nurture our faith. This year, there's going to be an undercurrent. That undercurrent is prayer. That's what we're going to kind of cultivate. That's one of the reasons why, Maria, thank you again for building those prayer booklets, because prayer is what it's going to be the undertone, or that sub voce sort of part to our journey this year, is prayer. Both personal prayer and communal prayer. And of course, the ultimate communal prayer we as Catholics pray every day, or can pray every day, is the Mass. So prayer is going to be the undercurrent, and that's something we're going to try to cultivate in all of us, so that we grow, not just in our faith journey, but as part of that growing in the faith journey, we will grow in our prayer life as well. Okay? And we actually do have a presentation on prayer a little later on. And also we want to inspire everyone. Put your faith into action. There are many ways to put your faith into action. And in fact, all of you have done one already. You came here tonight. That's putting your faith into action. And it's beautiful to see, by the way. It is beautiful to see. There will be many more opportunities to do that as we grow during this journey together. Put your faith into action. Small ways and in big ways. But each of them speaks volumes of your relationship with God. Here we have a small passage from John's Gospel. John chapter 14, 1 to 4. Could someone please read that for me? Anybody?
Do not let your hearts be troubled. You have faith in God. Have faith also in me. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. If there were not, would I have told you that I am going to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back again and take you to myself, so that where I am, you also may be. Where I am going, you also know the way.
This passage from John's Gospel, thank you very much, very much. This passage from John's Gospel speaks to many of the things we're going to be doing during these next 18 weeks. If you notice, well, let me ask this question. What does this Gospel passage speak to you about? And kind of how it relates to the OCIA Christian initiation process. What do you think St. John's talking about here? Or he was inspired to write about? Yes?
You can't have a home without building it first.
Great.
You have to have a house built for you to be able to come and live in it.
Exactly. You have to have that house built for you first. And God's done that for us. Excellent. What else?
This is not our home. There's a home prepared for us in heaven.
Yes, thank you, Pat. Yes, that's right. This is not our home. We have a home prepared for us in heaven. What else? Yes,
Making a promise.
what's that promise?
Promises there's a place for you. And
Exactly.
that I'll be there to meet you.
Exactly. That's wonderful. That's hope. No matter what we are living through in life, God has a place for us in heaven. With Him. How can it be any better than that? Do you also see kind of the end sentence here, where I'm going, you also know the way. That connotes a journey. And are we making this journey by ourselves? Who's with us?
God.
God, exactly. God's with us. So we're not making this journey by ourselves. God's with us. And we'll learn that way. One of the ways you do that is through prayer. By that communication between you and God. Okay. So, our first discussion of the evening. Two questions. What concerns you about becoming Catholic or growing in your Catholic faith? Because we do have people here that are already Catholic, but they're here to learn more about the Catholic faith or to finish their sacraments of initiation. And the second question is, what is inspiring you to explore Catholicism and giving you hope, or exploring this part of your faith journey? So what I'd like everybody to discuss at your tables. We're going to take about 5 minutes for that, so at 8 o'clock, we'll come back again, and maybe we'll just have a couple people report out. So these are the two questions. What concerns you about becoming Catholic? And what is inspiring you to explore Catholicism and giving you hope? Catholicism means anyone. Universal. It means universal. Exactly. It means universal. You can walk into any Catholic church, anywhere in the world. It's the same. Language may be different, Practices are generally the same. There are some variations. There are also different let's say faith traditions in the Catholic Church. Yes.
I was gonna ask, was it true that all Mass was in Latin until, I won't say recently, but
Fairly recently, the 60s. Most definitely, it was in Latin. Because there was that universal, to carry that universal nature of thought, it had to be in a common language. But the Church, after Vatican Council, which we'll talk about, disbanded that to make it so now Mass is celebrated in the vernacular, in the current language of that. We still do have Latin Masses every so often, but yeah, now it's celebrated in the language of that particular community. Yes, that's very true. So Catholicism means universal. Okay. So, what is faith? That's why we're here, right? To explore it, pick it apart, to grow, to question, to doubt a little, to be enlightened, to just meditate on it, and make it maybe a more or a deeper part of our lives. Some of, maybe faith isn't as important as it's been before. Something is drawing us that we want to be closer or more reverent or more devoted or just more intent in our faith. But we all have faith. I'm going to postulate this. I'm an engineer, by the way, so what I'm saying is kind of a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I would postulate that almost everyone on the face of this earth has some sort of faith. Even the agnostics, even the atheists, have some sort of faith in something. Now, it may not all be in God. I get that. But faith is key to us as human beings. What our hope and prayer is, that eventually everyone, kind of refocuses that desire for faith, that yearning for faith, to faith in God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But, again, that takes time. We're not all, born with that sense of a strong faith. It's developed, it's nurtured, it's taught to us. We practice it. We succeed at it, we fail at it. We succeed at it, we fail at it. And we grow in it. So, that's our next discussion topic. What is faith? His existence, presence, and loving goodness. Faith in God is always growing. It's changing. And this is key. It's a formation that won't end on this earth. It keeps going. It keeps going. Now, you might think, okay, what is it? What faith is not, all right, separated from trust. It's not anti-intellectual. That's a long-standing controversy, right? But it's not. In fact, one of the pillars of faith formation is the intellectual pillar. We have to learn about it. It doesn't mean that there's an absence of questions or doubts. And it's also not free from struggle. Faith is a struggle. To practice it well is a struggle. To practice it with devotion is a struggle. Okay? But it's a struggle that we give freely about. We're willing to go through that. Why? Because of our love for God. Okay? Got one more. Now, this one's an interactive section. It's going to take, and what I want to do is, we're going to show 3 Bible passages. So each table take one. Someone at the table will read it, and then you'll talk about it. And we're gonna have about 5 minutes for this. So, what I want you to talk about is what does this passage tell about faith? And what conclusions can you draw about faith from this brief passage? In faith. Lifelong. There are many ways to nurture your faith. Reading. You all just did it. Reading the Bible, okay? By your lifestyle. All right? Through prayer, which I remember, as I said a little earlier, that's kind of like the undercurrent for this whole group of about 18 weeks, is prayer. And we're going to develop that. Lastly, is participation in community. We're doing that right here. That's why we don't do this individually. We do this as a community because it helps to bolster our faith. All right? Look at that. 3 minutes to spare. We're not done yet. Sorry, we're not done yet. Couple things. First, some announcements. Next week, we'll be right here. Bring your materials. Also, make sure, those of you that have all the books, make sure you do your homework for next week, which is Mark chapter 1, and in the Peter Craft book, Part 1, Chapter 1. It's all on your agenda, the 2 middle columns. That's your homework. All right? So you do the homework for the week that we're coming to. So you do that before the session.
That's for